Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good afternoon, good morning. I think we're just about afternoon now. My name is Catherine Black. I am the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. I want to welcome you to the University of Hartford, virtually at least. I hope that someday you get to come to our beautiful campus. We are still offering tours. They are socially distanced and all of that. So hopefully someday you'll get to come see us in person. Today is about an introduction to the University of Hartford, what it is we do, what our values are, as well as the opportunities you would have if you became a student here. I'll start with some framing remarks to give you a sense of the College of Arts and Sciences, and then we're going to have a faculty and student panel so that you get to learn about some of the examples of the opportunities I describe. We're also here to answer any questions you might have. So please, if you have a question, put it in the Q&A and we'll be sure to answer it during the panel. But let me start with a couple of side notes about the coronavirus, which has totally upended all of our lives. I bring it up only because it illustrates a couple of important points. One area that has been particularly hard hit by the virus is education. And I know that you are experiencing that in your high schools. Well, we are experiencing it at the University of Hartford as well. We are teachers first at the university, and our commitment to teaching and to student success has only been heightened by the virus, by the challenges posed by the virus. We just had to figure out new ways of engaging our students. And so we spent the entire summer undergoing intense training and completely revamping our courses to make them fit with a hybrid or remote online format. And I just tell you that because it illustrates how committed we are and how dedicated we are to high quality teaching, high quality learning, and student success, regardless of the challenges of this virus. The second side note about the virus is that if you ever doubted the value of a college education, this virus is giving us a few data points. During the shutdown of the country back in the spring, and we had high unemployment rates, the unemployment rate was actually lowest for those with college degrees. And then when the country started reopening in the summer, the unemployment rate for college educated people dropped the most. So from an economic perspective, a college degree is worth the investment, let alone what a college degree does for you in terms of personal fulfillment and growth. Still, I understand that deciding which college to go to is an important and big decision. And I understand how exciting that can be and how scary that can be. Our family has been exactly where you are. I am the parent of two college-age children. My son is a junior in college and my daughter is a first-year student in college. So I understand what your family is trying to do by visiting all of these colleges and getting a sense of what's important. What I'm going to share with you is not only my perspective as a dean, but my perspective as a parent of college-age children. And my presentation is framed as a series of promises. That is, if you come to the University of Hartford, this is what you're going to get. This is what we do here. So let me start with our mission at the University of Hartford and in the College of Arts and Sciences is to prepare you for a successful career as well as for a successful life. And with that mission in mind, these are the promises that we make. So first, we are going to foster the skills you will need to be successful. We're going to provide opportunities for you to learn outside the classroom because this is actually where we think some of the greatest growth occurs. We provide close advising and mentoring by faculty and staff so that you can realize whatever goals and aspirations you happen to have. And then finally, we will enhance your career readiness so that you are ready for those next steps. So let me talk about each of these promises. We're going to foster the skills you need to be successful. Well, what skills are we talking about? It turns out the skills that you need to be successful in your career are also the skills that you need to be successful in life. And how do we know what those skills are? Well, we ask employers. There is a national survey that is done of employers every year, and it asks them, what are the skills you are looking for in the people you hire? And these are the skills that get cited over and over and over again as the top skills. Problem solving skills, ability to work in a team and leadership skills, communication skills, both writing and speaking, analytical/quantitative skills, and work ethic and initiative. And notice these skills are not tied to a particular major. They are infused in every single one of the majors we offer. And in fact, your major is about practicing these skills over and over in a particular content area. The other thing about these skills is they are transferable, meaning you can apply them to just about every career out there. And if you get good at these skills, you're going to get that first job, you're going to get the promotion, you're going to get the second job, on and on for the rest of your career. We start infusing these skills right from the very beginning, right from the very first course you take at the University of Hartford. And that first course is called a first-year seminar. All of our students, regardless of what major they choose, take a first-year seminar. It is a small seminar capped at about 15 or 16 students. It's designed around a particular topic. We offer about 20 different topics every fall. This is a list of some of the topics, that we're offering this fall. And the purpose of this course is to help you practice some of the skills I just talked about. So writing skills, presentation skills, working in a group on a project, and so forth. At the same time, the course is designed to help you make the adjustment from the academic expectations of high school versus the academic expectations of college. What is it like to write a paper in college? What is it like to give a presentation in college? So that prepares you for that upper level work. These skills are then infused in every single major we offer. We offer 23 majors in our college. And please don't worry if you are one of those students who is undecided and have no idea what you want to major in. Many of our students come to us undecided, and we have advisors to help you figure that out. Some of our students are undecided because they have many interests and they just can't narrow it down to one or two. Others of our students who are undecided have no idea. They have no idea what they want to major in, and that's okay. There's plenty of time to figure out a major. And as I said, we have advisors to help you figure that out. But I want to turn now to the second promise we make about learning outside the classroom. We believe that learning is not limited to the four walls of a classroom. We believe that the greatest growth actually occurs when you have opportunities to apply what you've been learning in the classroom outside the classroom in some real world independent way. And by the way, those same experiences look really good on a resume. We believe so strongly in this learning beyond the classroom that we require it. All of our students, regardless of what their major is, have to engage in at least one learning beyond the classroom activity. We call it LBC for short, learning beyond the classroom. And you might be asking, well, what kinds of things are you talking about? Well, here's a sample. One of the ways is through an internship. All of our majors offer internships. This list is a very tiny sample of some of the internships we offer. We have partnerships with industry, with hospitals, schools, all sorts of agencies, not-for-profit and so forth. And many times these internships can lead to job opportunities. If you do a good job at your internship, often there's a job waiting for you when you graduate. I'll also tell you that we understand that if you were to have an unpaid internship, that might interfere with your ability to make money at your part-time job. And so if you have an unpaid internship, I have a fund in my office that you can apply for that allows you to get a stipend while you have your internship so that you can take advantage of this opportunity and not lose out on income that you might need in order to go to school. So that's a possibility as well. Another example of a learning beyond the classroom experience is undergraduate research, where you get to work side by side with a faculty member conducting research. And in some cases, our students will present that research at a conference, or sometimes they even will co-publish their research with a faculty member. And that's especially helpful if you are thinking about graduate school in your future. And that same fund that I just described that helps students with internships, you can also use that fund to apply to for research projects. So if you need supplies in order to do your research, you can apply to that fund, and that fund will help purchase those supplies for you. And finally, another example of a learning beyond the classroom experience is study abroad. Now, of course, study abroad is on hold right now, given what's going on in the world, but we hope someday study abroad will come back. And we have opportunities both for long-term study abroad, where you're away for an entire semester, or if you are in a position where that's not possible for you, we have short-term study abroad opportunities, either the few weeks over the winter term, a couple of weeks in the beginning of the summer, or we even have 10-day study abroad opportunities in the spring, where you will take a course at the University of Hartford, go abroad with your professor during spring break, and then come back and finish the course in the spring semester. So we have all those opportunities. And now finally, I want to talk about the third and fourth promise we make about advising and career readiness. With regard to advising, our focus is on the whole student, both your academic interests and concerns and your non-academic interests and concerns. And we have a model that's a little different at the University of Hartford when it comes to advising. At some universities, you will only meet with your advisor once during that first semester in college, and that's to pick classes for the next semester. We don't do it that way here at the University of Hartford. We have a model where you will meet with your advisor every single week of your first semester in college. And the reason we do that is because we want you to get to know your advisor. We want your advisor to get to know you. We want to connect you to resources to help you. We want you to start talking about degree requirements and start exploring career options right from the very beginning. And we do that through this first year advising course, as I said, where you will meet with your advisor every single week. And it's not just your advisors who are going to get to know you. Your instructors are going to get to know you as well. We have very small classes at the University of Hartford. So your instructors, your faculty are going to get to know you. They're going to know your name. They're going to know if you come to class or don't come to class. And their job and our job is to support you every step of the way to help you achieve the goals that you have for your college experience and to get the most out of your college experience. And for the fourth promise around career readiness, we understand that one of the reasons you're going to college is to get a good job. And we don't want to leave that to chance. We don't want you floundering out there trying to figure out what your next steps are. So all of our students, regardless of what their major is, will take a career preparation course. And the purpose of this course is to help you identify your strengths, your interests, and to match that up with a possible career path. And then once you've narrowed in on a particular path, the course is designed to help you determine what you need to do in college to get ready for that career path. And then it starts getting into, how do I write a cover letter and a resume? How do I search for a job in that area? How do I create a LinkedIn account? And they have mock interviewing sessions so that you can practice interviewing before you go on the real thing. So it's designed to help you with next steps. The course includes a Career Readiness Academy, which is where we bring alumni back to campus to talk about their career trajectories and to give you advice about career paths and so forth. And then that, of course, is all in collaboration with our Career Services Office, where you can also have one-on-one appointments to do all the things I just described, resumes and job search strategies and so on. So just to reiterate our promises, all of our programs are designed to foster the skills you'll need to be successful. We provide opportunities for you to learn outside the classroom, where we believe a lot of the greatest growth occurs. We provide close advising and mentoring by faculty and staff so that you can achieve your career goals. And of course, we will enhance your career readiness and get you ready for those next steps. And we've had great success in placing our students. We survey all of our students after they graduate, and we ask them what they're doing. And as you can see, here are some of the places where our graduates are working. Hopefully you recognize some of those logos. We know and appreciate the tremendous trust you would be putting in us to help prepare you for your future. And we take that trust and that responsibility very seriously. We know that selecting a college is a very big decision. And we hope this has given you some sense of who we are at the University of Hartford and the College of Arts and Sciences. And we hope that you can come to our campus at some point and see for yourself who we are. But for now, I want to give you a chance to meet some of our students and faculty. So I'm going to ask them to turn on their cameras and unmute themselves. I'm going to stop sharing. Well, here, I'll give you a list. Here are the panelists that we're going to have. I will stop sharing this screen so that you all can see everyone a little bit better. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to ask the faculty to introduce themselves, their name and their program. So Dr. Duran, do you want to go first?
Certainly. Hello, I'm Bob Duran. I'm a professor in the School of Communication. My specific area and emphasis in communication is human relations, interpersonal communication. So I teach courses in nonverbal communication, family communication, and research methods.
Great. Dr. Trampy?
Hello, I'm Margaret Trampy. I'm an assistant professor of psychology, and my area of expertise is cognitive psychology. I teach intro to psychology and then upper level courses in cognitive psychology like sensation perception, human factors, thinking, memory, and problem solving.
Great. All right. And now our students, if you could introduce your name, your year, what program you're in, and where you're from. Jill, you want to go first?
Definitely. Thank you, Dean Black. So my name is Jill Ernst. I'm originally from Massachusetts, right by the New Hampshire border. I'm a senior here at UHart, and I am studying biology with like a pre-veterinary track.
Great. Hey, Grace?
Yeah, hi, I'm Grace. I live in Pennsylvania currently. I'm a junior, and I am a double major in politics and psychology with a minor in environmental studies.
Great. And Kelly?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Insulaco. I'm from New Jersey. I'm a junior math major with minors in actuarial science and business administration.
Great. Wonderful. Welcome to all of you. So I have a series of questions for you. Dr. Duran, I wonder if you could start. We talked a little bit in the presentation about advising. Can you describe your approach to advising? I know you see it as a four-year journey. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about it.
I do. I enjoy advising. I see it as a four-year independent study in which from the very first semester through the last semester, eight of them, I get to meet with my students, find out what their interests are, what their career aspirations are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And along the way, I get to learn who they are. We talk about movies, TV, music, pop culture. And my goal, my ultimate goal is to try to put together with them an academic program that not only prepares them for what they want to do in a career, but also prepares them to be successful in that career. So for example, I always try to put together majors and minors, or sometimes double majors. So if someone is a public relations advertising emphasis in the School of Communication, I always try to steer them to get a minor in marketing or maybe in management. So I tried to put together some sort of degree that will make them prepared for their career and also make them unique in the marketplace. So it's a 4-year course.
Great, thank you. And Dr. Tarampi, I know you've supervised quite a few students doing independent research with you. And I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about some of the projects your students have worked on.
I would love to. I have had the great pleasure of working with so many wonderful undergraduate students in research, students who just came up to me, who were taking my classes, who had just questions that they were really interested in pursuing. And since I, teach courses that other majors take as well, I've supervised a lot of students across the whole campus in many different colleges. I think one research project that's gone on for a couple semesters now is a project I've been working on with a student in prosthetics and orthotics who was interested in how to combine her interest in psychology with her practices in prosthetics, and came up with a really great question. And we've been working through and developing that study. And it's a study that I think has a lot of potential for publication. It's very high level work, and I'm just honored to be part of it, to help her through that process, to give her all of the experiences that she's interested in having in terms of experiment design and running the experiment, going through all the ethical protocols, etc. And so I really see myself as helping students accomplish what they're looking to do. And I've happily done that. And I've also had students publish with me as well. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Jill, speaking of research, I know you're doing research with a faculty member, with Dr. Lee, in biology. I wonder if you could tell us about the projects you're working on and the relationship that you have formed with Dr. Lee.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. That's a great question. So Dr. Lee is my personal advisor that I was assigned by the school, and she has been such an amazing part of my college journey. So she offered to let me join her research my freshman year, and we studied the genetic sort of origins of osteoarthritis. So we're looking into how to if it's possible to turn that gene off and prevent people from eventually developing osteoarthritis. So it's a really cutting edge, really interesting research for me. And I was lucky. Originally, I was interested in medicine, so it was perfect. But then I switched to veterinary, and I was like, oh, I don't know how relevant it is, but we actually have a mouse model, which is, it's actually very unique for a campus of this size. And we work with these live animals. You get trained and you work with them and do various experiments with them. So I was able to sort of still get that really good experience that's going to hugely impact my career in the future, as well as having, really supportive. I work with my peers. I work with Dr. Lee. She's such a fantastic resource, not only for my career, but just for succeeding in college as well at the basics. So it's been such a great opportunity.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Grace, you are a double major, right? Politics and psychology, and a minor in environmental studies. And I'm wondering how you fit all that in. Is it hard to schedule all your classes, and who helps you with all of this?
Yeah, so I would say no, it's not hard to fit all in, because as a couple people have emphasized, for each of those things, I have a different advisor. And throughout my whole time here, because I declared both of those things my first semester freshman year, they have worked with me to make sure that I'm able to do, meet all the requirements for that, and still able to do other things that I wanted to do on campus. Luckily, because in the College of Arts and Sciences, the Gen Ed credits are the same for any major, so those don't take up a lot of space. But my psychology and my politics advisors are actually friends. So when I go to one of them, the other one will say, oh, I was just talking to, your other advisor about you, and it seems like everything's going to work out great. So I would say that that's really possible because of the close relationships that you have with those faculty members who, like, they know what I want to do and what I want to get out of my university experience, and they help me with that.
That's great. Thank you. Kelly, you've had an opportunity to do some projects with industry as a collaboration with the Barney School of Business. So could you tell us a little bit about those projects and the mentors that you've been able to work with?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about this. So my sophomore year, which was last year, I was able to intern with the Hartford Insurance Group as part of a business analytics project. And I actually first learned about this opportunity when I was at an open house at the University of Hartford when I was a senior in high school. And I actually met my current advisor who was talking about this ongoing project. And last year, he came up to me and recommended that I join the project team, and I got to meet with mentors within the Barney School and also worked alongside my advisor in the College of Arts and Sciences. So I had 3 faculty leads on the project. So they were there to help us in terms of researching the company and its competitors. And then when we actually went over to the Hartford, we got 3 industry mentors. So people who have been in the industry, there was an analyst on the team, there was a manager, there was an assistant vice president on the team. So we had various levels within the Hartford. So not only was it good to get experience in terms of working with particular programs, so I worked in Tableau to do my analysis, but it was also interesting just to get experience in the insurance industry, get to learn the terms that they use all the time. So having that opportunity, especially as a sophomore, and getting the opportunity to work with mentors both in the Barney School, in the College of Arts and Sciences, and at the Hartford was awesome. And it definitely will help me moving forward, looking for internships in the future.
That's wonderful. Dr. Duran, you didn't say this during your opening remarks, but I know this, that you have been a faculty member at the University of Hartford for 40 years.
Yes.
And I was hoping you could share with us, what has made you stay at the university for 40 years. You're originally from California.
Yep.
And you made it all the way over to Connecticut. And I'm wondering what has kept you here.
Yes, and my father wondered that same thing for a number of years, why I didn't come back home to California. I am originally from California. I did my undergraduate in California and then moved my way east with graduate education. My original plan was I'd never lived on the East Coast. I'd never been to Connecticut. I thought I'd experience it for a couple of years and then move back to California and teach at a university there. But really what happened to me along the way was a couple of things. One, I fell in love with kind of the mission of the University of Hartford, which is teaching first and then research. You have a lot of R1, research one institutions where your primary responsibility is research and publication. Here at the University of Hartford, at least the philosophy I got was that teaching is primary, and then our research supplements our teaching. And I really like that model because as a graduate student, I fell in love with being in the classroom. I found that teaching was my passion. And so then I was surrounded by colleagues who had the same kind of mission, where we all do our scholarship and we do it because that's what keeps us vital in our disciplines, but we all also value teaching, connecting with students and bringing our research to them. So what really happened to me was University of Hartford. That's why I've been here for 40 years, because of this community. It's truly a community dedicated to students and dedicated to teaching, and it's also one that cares about its faculty and students and staff.
Thanks, Bob. Dr. Trampy, you had said in your introductory remarks about teaching introductory psychology, and I know you put special emphasis on your introductory courses, especially for first year students, and you have a special approach to how you scaffold students to be successful in those courses. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about that.
I'd love to. I love teaching intro to psych. I think it's my opportunity to share my love and interests in psychology. I did my undergrad in architecture, actually, and then my graduate work in psychology. And I combine the two, but I always think about that everyone's coming to the classroom with these different backgrounds and interests. And how can we, or how can I share that interest of psychology or that view or that psychological lens to things that my students are coming to the classroom with? I very much use a student-centered approach to learning and evidence-based practices. So I'm interested in where students are in their learning and using the appropriate teaching methods so that I can make sure that they're learning the material and understanding, various psychological phenomenon in a way that I think is accurate and appropriate. And so a lot of that means discussions and really looking at our classroom as a community, that I'm learning as much from them as they are from me, because they're bringing their own view and their viewpoints, which in psychology is very important to understanding the differences of various phenomenon. So I think this student-centered approach, which is very much centered on active learning. So students are active in their own learning, where they're using the classroom as like a problem-solving environment. And so I try to present work or the lessons in a way that has them think critically about it and really relate it back to their own lives.
Wonderful, thank you. Jill, you have also studied abroad on top of all the other things you do. You went to Ireland, and I'm wondering if you could tell us about the most memorable experience that you had, and what was the most important thing you learned from studying abroad?
Yes, thank you. That's my favorite thing to talk about. So I studied abroad in Ireland, like you said, Trinity College last fall. So just before this coronavirus pandemic, I was really, really lucky. So my favorite story to tell is I went through a program called API, which the university helped me pick, find, sign up for. I cannot speak enough about this university's study abroad office. But anyway, so we were signed up to do a charity event. So we were raising money in Dublin for a youth homeless shelter, because that's a huge sort of social problem there. So we had these little buckets, and we were just going around Dublin shaking them for change. We were dressed up like little Santas, and it was one of the most fun nights of my life. Like, it was freezing cold. We were outside for like 6 hours trying to raise money, but there was such this community of not only the people that I met in Ireland and was raising money with, but the Irish people themselves. We were singing carols for money. Like, strangers would come up and start singing with us, and it was just such an amazing experience to see how doing good doesn't have to be difficult. It can be easy and build a community just as much as you're helping another community. So that was one of my favorite moments there. And I think the thing that I learned was the most, I learned a lot about myself. I think that studying abroad is such a personal journey in a way that's really beautiful. So I learned about how much that I love traveling. I love being outside of my comfort zone. I love doing, crazy trips. We used to just pick up and fly to a different country at the drop of a hat. It was so much fun. And I think I learned that not to be afraid of trying new things, and not to be afraid of, even if, like, we went to Norway and we didn't think it was going to be fun. It was just a really cheap flight, and it ended up being one of my favorite trips. So don't sort of have expectations when you go into something. So yeah, that's what I would say. Thank you.
That's great. Moving out of your comfort zone. That's a good thing. Grace, you're in the honors program, and I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit about that program and how you got involved in it. And you're working on an honors thesis now. Is that right?
Not quite yet.
Not quite yet. You will be.
Yes, next year. I'm excited to get started on that. But yeah, the honors program is I think one of the greatest opportunities that you can have, that anyone can have at the University of Harvard, especially in the College of Arts and Sciences, because basically what it is, it's just 18 credits that are incorporated into your other major or majors. And 4 of those credits are classes that you take at the honors level, and then 2 of them are like a thesis, being research and then writing a thesis. And for that, you work really closely with a faculty member. And I actually got involved in the honors program. I think I took my first honors class my first semester freshman year, because for those introductory level classes, you can anyone can take the honors level version. So I took one to see, like, is this something that I wanted to do, because I had gotten some information about it before I even decided that I was coming to school here, which was one of the reasons that I actually decided, because I was like, oh, this is like an honors program that's not super difficult to get into, but still has the same opportunities as, something that you have to like apply for and, write a paper for. And I would say, like, I have taken more honors classes than are required to fill those 18 credits, because they're just really fun classes to take. The class sizes at this school are not that large, but the honors classes are even smaller. So you get to work really closely with the other students in those classes and also with the faculty members. And this semester, for example, I'm taking a class on the Supreme Court, which became very relevant very quickly. So that's been, a lot of fun, to the way that we've had to follow along, with what the professor had planned, and also incorporate stuff that's going on in the real world. And if I could take all honors classes, I probably would, because I really like that kind of environment. And I think that like the opportunity to be able to do research, it'll be my senior year, just basically whatever you want, as long as you can get someone to, advise you on it, is a really, really cool thing.
Great. Well, good luck. So let's move away from academic interests. And Kelly, I'm wondering if you can tell us about some of the clubs and organizations that you're involved in. We have about 80 on our campus, so I'm sure you've found some to get involved in. What are you involved in?
So for the academic ones, I am president of the Actuarial Science Club, and I also am involved in Math Club. But outside of academics, I also am the vice president of the Women's Club soccer team. So the club sports on campus, there's anything from ultimate frisbee, there's a paintball team, there's soccer. So there's a whole bunch of different options, especially since in high school I was very active in sports, but decided not to pursue that in college. So I still get that sense of a team and being part of something with the women's club soccer team, which is awesome. And then I'm also involved in Best Buddies, which is under the realm of community service, but it's more that we hang out with and just spend time with students with intellectual and developmental disabilities from 3 local school districts. And back when we could be on campus, the students would come and we'd eat lunch with them, and we'd do various activities with them just to take time out of their day. And they loved coming to campus, being on a college campus and spending time with us. But even in the virtual environment, we've had movie nights, we've had virtual pumpkin painting during the Halloween time. So we still get to build those one-on-one friendships with everyone, which I think is awesome in terms of just the overall mission of the club itself, and being able in the virtual environment to still build those relationships. And then I also have a job on campus. I'm a peer tutor for the mathematics classes on campus. And this semester, I just became a TA for their 1-credit peer support workshop classes for Calc 1. And this works off of the statements that were already said about like dedication to student learning, especially during this time with the coronavirus, that even though that most of the classes are virtual, these 1-credit classes were set up, and it's small class sizes. There's only about 6 students in each of these workshops, where it's more of just a discussion based, where they can ask questions, have the opportunity to work on problems that otherwise may not be focused on in class. So really just having the sense of community, and that the professors, they give me specific work that I would give the students for them to be able to develop their skills further. So just that sense of everyone on campus is coming together and making sure that everyone is comfortable and transitioning nicely into the virtual environment.
That's great. Thank you. Well, I see we're kind of running short on time, so I'm going to combine our last questions that I'm going to ask everyone. And those 2 questions were, what do you think is the greatest strength of the University of Hartford? And then what advice would you give to a student who's thinking about coming here? So if you could answer both those questions when I call on you, that would be great. So Dr. Duran, you want to start? Greatest strength and advice you would give?
Sure. The greatest strength is one that has come through in this entire panel, starting with your presentation and everyone's answers. And that strength is we work really hard at teaching. We take it seriously. It's job number one for us. As you had indicated in your opening remarks, over the summer, I went to a number of webinars and workshops as a participant and as a presenter. We work hard at teaching. We take it seriously. As faculty members, we talk to one another about different ways to try to connect our knowledge with student interests and utilizing technology. So that'd be the number one strength. We take teaching seriously and we work hard at it, very hard at it. The advice I'd give, I will touch on one real quick, and then the other one I will expand on a little bit more. Get involved. When you get on campus, get involved. As you've heard from the panelists, and as you indicated, we have 80 some odd clubs. And if we don't have a club, you can start one with money from the university. So get involved. The 4 years go fast. The second piece of advice I would give is every faculty member has office hours, or as I've renamed them, student hours. For every class I teach, I am available to meet with students at particular times throughout the week. And then if they need to meet with me at a different time, I can meet with them then. Contact your faculty members, talk to them, get to know who they are and let them get to know who you are. We like our students. We like talking to our students. I sit there now virtually for an hour, a couple times a week, waiting for students to drop in. I want to talk to you. And it doesn't even have to be about class. It can be about other classes, issues they're having, things they're interested in. So get to know your faculty so we can get to know you.
Great, thank you. And Dr. Tarampi?
I think going on what Dr. Duran said, absolutely. One of the great strengths and also related to advice I would give is we're a very close, welcoming community. It's not always the case, but it definitely is at UHeart where, I adore my colleagues and we are not only friendly and close at the university, but also outside the university. And I think that shows to students our relationships because we do all care a lot about our students and about our teaching practices. And I think take advantage, I think, of that, of the relationships that you will develop with your faculty members because of the small classes, but then also the relationships you'll develop with your fellow classmates because you're all going through similar things. And also I think the last thing I would say is just there's a lot of flexibility in your plan of study, and I love seeing how each student has been able to shape that for themselves. And you can do that by, following your many interests through minors or double majors or through independent studies or however you want to do it. You just heard all sorts of different options for you. So just find what fits for you and embrace that when you come here.
Thank you. Wonderful. Jill.
Thank you. So for strength, I was thinking about this one for a while, and I think that out of all of them, the one that I most valued being a student here is the amount of opportunities that are available. So just from all of what my fellow peers have talked about, I was able to research, I was able to study abroad because it was so small and there were so many teachers that were very personally invested in my future. Like my advisor was part of the reason I was able to study abroad. It is more difficult especially as a science student to do it because you cannot take science classes abroad. So she was like, you know what, this is important for you to do and you want to do it. So she sat down with me and we planned out my 4 years when I was a freshman so that I could study abroad. And then in terms of advice that I would give is, especially being a senior and sort of ending my undergraduate career, I think that as important as it is to get really, really good grades, that's important to your future. When I look back, what I'm most proud of is my personal growth as opposed to like the A, I got in freshman year calculus. So I think my advice would be do well in school. Like that goes without saying, but don't put your academic growth above your personal growth. Like try to give them the same priority because college is a perfect time to become the best version of yourself.
Very nice. Very well said, Jill. Grace.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest strengths of this university, which has kind of come out across things that most people have been saying, and has also been made really more obvious because of the changes that we've had to make because of COVID, is that everybody who works here, rather than like in the administration or faculty or people who help out around campus, like they really care about the students and the experience that the students are getting. There's had to be a lot of changes made. Obviously, I live on campus, so about things that we can and can't do, and like one of the obviously college is an academic experience, but it's also a social and like a personal experience, and that's was a big adjustment that had to be made for that. And this kind of goes also into my advice, which would be there are opportunities that are not also academic, but that are social for you to meet new people and try new things. And even during this situation, there are still things that the university has planned, almost every weekend or literally every weekend for students to do. And those are just the kinds of things that, like, don't be worried that there's not going to be people there that or that, the Zoom meeting is going to be, boring, or you're going to be the only one there. Like, just take advantage of those kinds of opportunities because they are here. And the people who run those things, like, they really want you to have a good experience.
Thank you, Grace. And Kelly, you're going to wrap it up for us.
Yeah, so going off of everything that was already said, I think that just kind of reiterates the sense of community that is really present on campus. And I know a lot of students who have done virtual tours or haven't had the opportunity to come to campus. Although it sounds like a little cliche, like I knew the second I stepped on campus and met people during the open house that people actually cared about you. And like once you got into the classroom and outside of the classroom, you were more than just a number. Like you were a student. They knew your name, they knew your major, they knew, even like walking around campus, sometimes if I would run into a professor in the Barney School, which is a school I'm not even in, they would be like, oh, I saw your poster about what you did at the Hartford. That's awesome. And be able to have a conversation with you. So I think that really stood out to me as a factor for students who should come to the University of Hartford, is that there is a sense of community and people care about what you're doing. And even beyond academics, like how you're doing as a person, like others have said, like professors are just willing to talk to you literally about anything. So that goes into my advice of what I would say is definitely when making your decision, choosing a school that's relative to how you can perform in certain conditions relative to like class size, creating connections with your professors, and choosing a place that overall gives you a sense of community. And it's 4 years that you're going to be spending here. So being able to form those relationships and have those connections for those 4 years, it goes by way faster than you think it will. But definitely making the most out of your 4 years and having the best time that you can is definitely something that should be important.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for wrapping it up for us. I'd like to thank all of our panelists for being here and for sharing your experiences. This call was recorded and it'll be shared through the admissions office website. If you have any additional admissions related questions or financial aid questions, go to the admissions website. There is a yellow Ask Us tab on the right-hand side, and you can speak with a counselor live Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, and they'll get all of your questions answered. So thank you all for being with us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and be safe and stay healthy. Bye, everyone.